Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Amish in April kickoff live show. We're just here to chat some Amish books. No reading sprints or anything like that. This is going to be relatively short and sweet. Elizabeth and I like to get chatty, so
I know. I sometimes feel bad that Tiffany's just going to mute me when we're on Tiffany's because she's trying to get off, and I'm like, oh, but wait, let me say this.
just 1 second,
Yeah,
but that's okay. That's okay. So let us know what you're reading. Have you read anything yet? Because we're kind of encouraging people to read all month long, but it officially started yesterday. So,
and I don't know if Roxy will be in, but if she's here, I heard her say this morning on her update, she's like, she started reading Amish book, or well, no, it wasn't Roxy. I'm sorry, Roxy, it wasn't you. It was Paola, I think. I don't know, somebody who was talking about it because they started reading Amish books early in the month and now they're tired of them. And I'm like, and that's what I was just thinking to myself. I'm like, a whole month is kind of long for such a subgenre. So that's kind of why we don't, promote it for the whole month. That and the fact that I always say, I usually travel for the last 4 years.
Yep.
I've been traveling early in the month. And so, and I probably will again next year. I just didn't go on my trip this year. So it just works out to do it later. And it's, I get what Storm said. She's like, I'm just going to do them whenever I'm in the mood. And that totally makes sense. But we're not trying to impute on anybody that they read Amish books for the whole month.
Oh, goodness, no. I mean, even I'm just mixing them in. I've only read one so far,
Yeah. And I did actually listen to one at the end of February. I listened to Gingerbread. What's the
Gingerbread Danger?
One? Is that what it's called? I forget. The newest Amish candy shop. Yeah.
It's the Christmas one, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I went ahead and listened to that one. But
nice.
Other than that, I haven't done any until today. I didn't even start yesterday because I was trying to finish up a couple of audiobooks I had checked out. And so I still have one other one that I've started that's not Amish, but I'm just going to kind of work it in. I was ready to get started with my Amish books today. I accomplished 2 things at once today. I did my Patricia Johns book today. So that counts for your category romance book club. And
awesome. That was the audio one, right?
Yes, I did an audio book. Yeah, I did it on audio. I don't have a physical copy of it. My library only has a large print copy, which is, not a category. If I check it out, it's not going to look, it's not going to be a category romance. You know what I mean? It's not going to look the same. So I'm going to see if my bookstore has it and just it. And that way, because I like to have a physical copy for my end of the month photo and just to hold up and show.
I know.
Yeah.
But at least even though I said I read these, I usually listen to Linda's books on audio. When I saw this at the library today, I'm like, got to pick up a copy.
Yeah, I heard you say that in your video. You're like, I may as well get it. And I feel the same way. It's like, even if I'm going to listen to it, I like to go ahead and just have it.
Absolutely.
So, which since we're holding up Linda, and I did comment in your video that I started this one today.
Oh, you started Pray for Silence. Okay.
Yeah, because I did listen to the first book back when you first listened to it. Like one of the first years we did this, I listened to it.
I think it was the first year.
Yeah, I think it was too. So how far have you gotten and why are you starting over?
I'm starting over because basically, this kind of harkens back to everything that I've been dealing with for the past year and a half. Basically, after transplant, a lot of everything for me I hit a restart on everything. And I'm like, you know what? A lot of these things I've read, I've forgotten about. I put them aside. I've basically stopped reading for almost a year. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of series, like I've restarted everything. I restarted the Cat Who. I restarted the Babysitters Club. And that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Okay.
Because I want a fresh start. I'm very much like you said in your recent video I watched, that you are a goal-oriented person. Like people comment to you about, oh, you're flying through audiobooks.
Yeah.
You're a goal, right?
Yeah.
And that's you. For me, I like things to look clean. Like if I'm reading, I want the series to be done correctly. Like I want all my notes. You know what I mean? That's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I do get criticism, not a lot, but people will occasionally comment, and I had one not too long ago. It's like, how can you even enjoy your books when you're going through them so fast? And I'm like, I get joy from just checking them off the list. So
Precisely.
yeah.
Each to their own.
Yeah, exactly. And one of these days, I don't like to do negative videos, but every once in a while I get some rando negative comments, and sometimes they disappear. And I think that, and I didn't realize this because somebody else said you can't. I thought somebody else was removing them, and somebody else was like, I don't think you can remove them, but actually you can, because I there was a friend of mine and I saw like the spam comment, and I just clicked on it to report it, and it reported it as spam, and then it disappeared. And I was like, okay, so I think that's a thing. You can actually, but sometimes I think people will comment to stuff and I'll get the notification, and then they're too chicken to leave it on there and they delete it.
Right.
So when I get a really bad comment, I screenshot it so that I can remember it. And one of these days, I'm going to do a video responding to negative comments, just for the fun of it, because I'm pretty thick-skinned, although
you have to be.
I am, and in a way I'm not, because I'm words of affirmation. So if somebody I really know and love says hurtful things, then that's hurtful. But if people that I have no idea,
I don't know you from Adam. Yeah,
then whatever, because obviously I put myself on the internet. I'm opening myself up to all kinds of comments.
Right.
So, that's a thing that you kind of have to agree to when you get on here, So.
Right. You saying that about doing a whole video, I laugh because occasionally on Instagram, I'll come across this woman who does videos about cooking or things like that, like these little shorts. And occasionally she'll get comments about, oh, you're too ugly to be online. Like, I mean, they're really hurtful stuff, right? I love her responses. She'll put the comment up and she'll read it. She'll point to it and she'll go, like this. And then she'll post a picture of the person who left the comment.
Oh,
no better. Do you know what I mean? Like, like, who are you to say that I should, you know what I mean? Like,
right? Oh my goodness. Wow.
But that's the thing. I think like people like, oh, you're reading your book. Like people who comment that we read too fast or we, audiobooks aren't reading or whatever. Excuse me. And how many books have you read?
Yeah. And what cracks me up is like when people comment about your laugh, I'm like, Sarah, don't you dare change your laugh. Because I know you've said that. Sometimes people have said,
oh yeah, I've gotten comments about it,
or something about negative about your laugh. And I'm like, no.
People will complain for the sake of complaining. I've come to this conclusion and I don't care anymore. The only bad comment I ever got was when I announced that when everything hit the fan in October of 2023, and somebody commented on my video saying, I don't know why you're posting this. No one cares.
Well, obviously they were wrong, because
clearly
you were, I think your channel grew during that point because people, they were concerned and they wanted to know. Yeah.
And I got so much joy out of deleting that comment and not even responding to it. It was like giving the middle finger, to be completely honest. I wasn't using foul language.
No, I will say that sometimes when people post, like people who have a posting schedule, and they try to stick to it, and I get that. That's fine. I know you do too, and sometimes people who they'll come on and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get a video up this week on Tuesday at 5 because
yeah.
I'm like, it's okay.
I don't watch it until next Tuesday at like
yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness, don't stress about that.
Right, I know.
It's fine. I mean, sometimes it is concerning, like if there are people who usually post every day and all of a sudden they miss a month and you're like, what happened? What happened to them? And I've told my daughter, I'm like, if anything ever, when and if something happens to me, please go on my channel and just tell me what happened so that they're not out there wondering what in the world happened to you, So.
I had a post. I had a post written out that if God forbid something happened, Garrett was to hit post on.
Nice.
thankfully deleted it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Just because,
Right.
and I think that's why at the beginning when I came out of hospital, I would say like, no vlog today, guys, because if I didn't post for a day, there were a lot of people who would be like, you okay?
Yeah. And you don't have
cool?
time to worry about responding to everybody's comments.
I'm like, I'm cool. We're good. But anyway, let's talk Amish
we
books.
appreciate that you two give us updates and everything.
That's right.
So we've got a few commenters.
I will get into the comments. Let's see what everybody else is talking about. We got 33 people here.
And if you are getting ready to comment, also just like Pat, go ahead and comment what you are reading, what Amish books you're reading, what you've already read,
what did you think about them?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
All the good stuff.
We'll share ours too.
Hello, Pat. Good evening, everyone. I have read A Hidden Secret by Linda. I can never say her last name. You go ahead. Castillo. I'm trying now to pronounce it correctly. She just gave it 5 stars and listening to A Simple Murder. These are a group of short stories. Yeah, I do like the short stories in between the full-length novels. And she says, don't forget the thumbs up. Our cheerleader, Pat, we adore her. Plus, I've been fighting with migraine all day due to a very high pollen count in our area. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. Hope you're feeling better. And Barb's, hey, Barb. Hi, Pat. Hope you're feeling better.
I was just going to say, since Pat mentioned Linda Castillo, oh, good, and Barbara too. I was going to say we could go ahead and mention. Did we already, or was it before?
I held it up.
That we're both reading. Yeah. So Sarah's rereading the first one, and I'm finally reading the second one.
And for those of you who are listening to it on audio, is it not fantastic on audio? She does do a great job. Kate McKinney does such a brilliant job. Now, Barb says it's on KU. I saw her comment before we started. I looked. It's not on KU in Canada.
Oh, that's too bad.
Unfortunately. But it's on KU, it seems like, in the States. So if you have it, there you go. Michelle, happy Saturday, everyone. And another one, we've got our bingo, currently reading After the Storm. Looking for recommendations by Shelley Shepherd Gray or any other Amish authors. All right, we can do this.
Yes, we can. I have read a whole series by Shelley Shepherd Gray. And you have you read some too?
I think I have. I'm just looking up which ones I've read.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to do the same thing. I own several of her series, and I've read one of them. Or 2 of them. Let's see.
Am I typing it wrong? How do you pronounce
it? Her name is spelled bizarre. Okay, so Gray is Gray.
So the Canadian
Shepherd is without, it's not Shepherd, it's Shepard.
Got it.
Hepard. And Shelley has an extra L and an extra E.
She was the author.
I guess the L, 2 L's is normal, but it's got an extra E.
Yeah. She was the author that gave me the inspiration for the ABC 123.
Yes.
Because of her new series, Amish ABCs.
Very cool.
Which I have not read, but it gave me the inspiration.
And somebody else commented in my announcement about that. And I was like, yeah, I think that's where Sarah got this idea.
Yep. I have read by her. Actually, by her, I have not read her Amish. I have read her contemporary.
Oh,
I read her Dance With Me series.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, the first book is called Shall We Dance?
Oh.
Yep.
Is that new or old?
These came out in 2022.
Nice. I
did not know about that. They're still sweet romances, but they're not Amish, right? So
okay.
So if you want something non-Amish for after Amish in April, that's my recommendation. Plus, she has written for Category, and I've read her Category, and I think I read a couple of her Amish for Category, but I can't remember. Yes, what I read Widow's Secrets.
Oh, okay.
Love Inspired.
Is that by her?
Yes.
Okay, I have not read that one. What I have read is the Amish Brides of Pinecraft. Ooh. Pinecraft is a Amish community in Florida, and so that's what drew me to that one. And it is a 4-book series with a 2.5 novella, and it is about some Amish people from some other state, Ohio or something, going on vacation to Pinecraft.
Oh, fun.
And then one of them meets a local young man and they start courting, So it's kind of like people from 2 different Amish communities meeting up and everything. And I really enjoyed it. And I think they're all on audio, even maybe that novella. I'm pretty sure I listened to them on Hoopla.
Oh, wow.
So, but there's Promise of Palm Grove, Proposal at Siesta Key, novella is A Wish on Gardenia Street. And then I love this title, A Wedding at the Orange Blossom Inn.
That's
That sounds
delightful.
so Florida. And then A Christmas Bride in Pinecraft is book
Oh
4.
yes, I remember you reading those. Okay,
It's been
okay.
years, but yeah, I did read those. And then I own Sisters of the Heart, but I have not read them. That's a 4-book series:
Mhm.
Hidden, Wanted, Forgiven, and Grace. And then
That's her first
is
series.
that
I
her
think.
first one?
Yeah.
And then I also own most of these: The Amish of Hart County, Her
Mhm.
Secret, His Guilt, The Gift, His Risk, Her Fear, and His Promise. I think I've got all those, but maybe one.
Wonderful.
So, and I have not read any of those. But when I see these things at like library sales and stuff, I just throw them in my bag. You know, when
I
it's
know.
still a bag for whatever, I'm just
Yep.
like, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know,
Yep.
take it now, worry about it later.
And any other Amish authors? Well, I mean, Amanda Flower. If you want some mysteries.
Yeah. If you want Christian-based, faith-based, Beverly, you can't go wrong with Beverly Lewis. She is kind of what I consider the matriarch of Amish literature. I don't think there were really any people writing Amish until Beverly Lewis. Wanda Brunstetter is probably right in there with her. Hers are a little lighter on the faith elements. It's there, but Beverly Lewis, I would say, hers are really evangelical Christian themes with hers. And then I have this one checked out right now. Cindy Woodsmall, Paola. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Paola from Reading in Darkness. Read this last year. I've read some Cindy Woodsmall, but not this one. She said this one is an Amish time travel book. So how fun does that sound?
Interesting.
I'm like, give me that right now. I'm going to read that. So,
right.
Yeah. So, but of course, I didn't get to it till this year, but I am going to read it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, hold on. I'm going to mute myself. Emily needs some.
Another one that I'll recommend is Vanetta Chapman. She writes both the more Christian, like your typical romancy Amish books, but which I've read a couple of. She writes a lot for Category for the Love Inspired line. But she also writes some mysteries. And I read her, what was it called? The Amish Village Mystery. It's a trilogy. It was delightful. Murder Simply Brewed is the first book. And the other series that she does is called Agatha's Amish B&B. And the first book is called Dead Wrong. And that one was really cute as well. I haven't read the other books in it. But yeah, she writes a lot of Amish, especially for Category. But she's delightful, Vanetta Chapman.
The one Amish Village, that's the Murder Simply Brewed.
Murder Simply Brewed, yeah. And then Murder Simply Stitched, and, you know.
And then she's got another one that I've read. I have not read the Amish Village, but I want to. She has one that my sister sent me called the Shipshawana Amish, which is kind of quilt-based.
Okay.
And it's definitely mystery. It's a cozy mystery with a light faith element. And the first one is called
Falling to Pieces.
Yeah. Then A Perfect Square and Material Witness. That's a really good one. I've read all of those, and they're on audio too. So
excellent. Yeah, the Amish Village Mystery is on audio, and so is the Agatha's Amish B&B. And I also think that a lot of her, don't quote me on this, but a number of her Category romances might be on audio as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because she's such a popular author that she's, you know what I mean?
Probably AI generated audio.
Potentially. Maybe. But still, they're still decent. Like, they're not. Barb will tell us all about Snoop Dogg reading her an Amish book. So, you know.
Oh, my goodness. The one I listened to today, the Patricia Johns book that I mentioned to you before we went live, it's called Her Amish Family. I don't know. It's hang on. I'm trying to get to it. Goodness gracious. Anyway, it was AI generated audio, soprano, and it was fine except for she couldn't decide how to say Dade, like for dad. Sometimes it was deed, sometimes it was dead, sometimes it was dad. It was like you would think that if it's AI, they would choose one way and say it the same way throughout the whole book. And somebody else mentioned to me that in the comments once that, it was probably my, or no, maybe it was my sister. I think she listened to something that was AI generated. And she's like, why can't the computer make up its mind which way it's going to say it? So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It was the nanny's Amish family, which
Oh, okay.
really wasn't a nanny. She was the new school teacher, but she helped out this man whose daughter had come to live with him. He was his little child was born out of wedlock during his rumspringa, and now the mother died. So now this child who's 4, who's only ever lived in Englisher world, now she's kind of being forced to conform to Amish. I had a few issues with that. I thought they handled it as well as they could, but I would have liked to have. I would like a sequel to that. Because there's and maybe there is a sequel actually, because it says
what's it called again? Her
Nanny's Amish family. It does say it's a series, Redemptions, Amish Legacies. So maybe we will get a little more.
Yes, it's the first book.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be these characters, but I would like
you'll get to see what happened to them.
Yeah, because the male lead's mother had been she wasn't born Amish, but her and her husband had converted to being Amish, and then her husband died, and they had these 2 sons, and then she decided she didn't want to be Amish, and so she left the boys in the Amish community and left, and so kind of shunned. It was kind of bizarre. So then when she finds out she's got a grandchild, then she wants to come back, and so I'm thinking, why don't, if she really doesn't want to be Amish, let her raise the grandchild who doesn't really want to be Amish either.
Right.
That would make the most sense to me.
Precisely.
I'm not the author, so I don't know.
Well, the one that Storm read is one that she actually did on audio, like a proper audio book.
Oh, okay.
And it was Grave Amish Secrets. It's her newest release.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So yeah, but I noticed that Speechify that Barb used to listen to. I have the free version, so you don't get the really good AI generated voices. You get the kind of not so great AI generated voices. Okay. And what I noticed, I was listening to the Cat Who book, and it tends to skip lines. So I'm like, no, I can't. You know what I mean? So I just put it aside, and I'm like, I'll deal. When I have some money, I'll try a month and see how it works for me. You know what I mean? But other than that, I can't deal with that. I want the proper, I can get an incorrect word here and there. But when you're skipping lines, that bothered me. So
exactly.
Erica, I love your shirt. Thank you. Just started the new Golden Girls Cozy Mystery, Murder by Cheesecake. Are you enjoying it? And we have our first Amanda Flower. I'm currently reading Assaulted Caramel on audio, 40% through.
Hello, Emily.
And Emily. And I read Assaulted Caramel earlier this month. Wonderful.
We might get a bingo with Emily and Assaulted Caramel.
Right? We might get a blind somewhere.
Yeah. Emily's that are reading it.
Cajun. Hi, Cajun. Oh, she's been a member for 10 months. Thank you, Cajun. Oh, you're so sweet. Studio. Hello, Donna. Hello, everyone. I'll be reading Breaking Silence and Plain Threats by Allison Stone, both third book in series Kate Burkholder and Apple Creek.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
I've got Allison Stone as a possibility. If I decide to pick up anything with my eyeballs, that's one of them that I've got. I own that whole series.
Does her stuff isn't put into audio?
You know what? I think it might be, but the first 3 are not. So it starts with 4 on Hoopla. So the first 3, and I own them all. It's their category. They're love inspired.
I was gonna say, I was just looking. Yeah, love inspired. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They aren't. Plain Pursuit. Excellent.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to catch up and finish some other eyeball reading. So I may just do Amish on audio.
Mm-hmm.
Amish on audio.
Next year. That's our theme for next year. Amish on audio. I think both of us can get behind that. Roxy says, hello, everyone. Hello, Roxy.
And that's not the same Roxy that just started her channel. That's a different Roxy.
I think it's a different Roxy. You are correct. We have many Roxys. Cav, I've read 3 Amish books so far and discovered new to me author, Amity Hope. Really like her storytelling style and the way she portrays the Amish community and the relationships. Wonderful.
Cool.
I hope. I'm just looking up this author. Bear with.
Good job. You're the winner so far. You already read 3.
Yep. Oh. Pine Creek Amish, it looks like, is the series.
Okay.
Oh, they look delightful. They came out in 2001. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing a new author with us.
Yeah, and they've been out since 2001. That's
2021.
Oh, 2021. I was going to say.
Yeah. Not that long. We didn't miss too much. And Cajun says, I read the first in the Eddie Smith Amish mystery and emailed the author because I felt like I had missed something. She told me it was a spinoff from an Amish secret widow society. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Amy, hi everyone. I plan to read A Salted Caramel. We have our bingo.
There you go.
Another bingo. Angel, hi everyone. I finished Murder of an Amish Bridegroom by Patricia Johns. Well done. Amish Country Killer, or County Killer by Mary Alford, and reading Criminally Coco by Amanda Flower, and Grave Amish Secrets by Patricia Johns.
Nice. You are an overachiever. Good job.
We like that around here. Cajun says, so I read the first book of both series, but we'll do Widows and then go back to Eddie, but I like them both. Excellent. I really wish that they would make note of that in the beginning of a book. Like the Amish Matchmaker series, for example. Like an author's note at the beginning. Please note, you might want to go back and read the first four books of,
I think it's a publisher thing. I don't think the publishers want to. That's why they don't put numbers, because they know that will limit the number of sales that they will get from those books farther in the series, because, you don't care, but a lot of people like Storm wouldn't buy number 5 if she has number 1. You know what I'm saying? So that way, if they just kind of be shady about it, then they might buy it. And then you're like, oh, well, now I've bought it. I have to go back and buy number 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. This is a true fact.
There's Roxy. Hey, Roxy.
Hey, Roxy. Hello, everyone, she says. Roxy says, I was worried about mean people since I started my booktube channel, but I realized I shouldn't care. It says something about them, not me. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Barbara, hi friends, eating lo mein, reading Sworn to Silence. Foot hurts today, went to Walmart. Wait, is it Sunday? No, dear, it's only... It's sad. I'm all messed up on the days too because of going back to work and then Friday being the holiday. I'm like, what is happening now?
And then tomorrow, I think Tiffany's going to come on earlier. So she didn't say yet what time. I probably won't be on tomorrow because we're going after church to Randy's in-laws and all that stuff. So
yeah,
so I'm glad we had a chance to do this tonight real quick.
Oh yeah, no, me too. Absolutely.
A little bit. I know. She has the best laugh.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Crochet Amima. Complainers have way too much time on their hands. Agreed. Hi, Dream. She says, hello, everyone. Roxy reads, complainers and negative comments. That is just miserable people who are trying to bring people to their level. Same with bullies. It's just internet bullies is what it is.
Yeah.
Dream says, I will be continuing Gingerbread Danger by Amanda Flower. Wonderful.
Nice.
And Michelle says, thank you both so much for the recommendations. You are welcome. I'm so sorry I didn't have time to get out my recommendations video. Life happened and I was not. I said to my husband today, we were driving to Walmart, I said, when I got up Monday morning, going back to work was not on my bingo card for this week.
Well, and excuse me, I'm losing my voice. You've probably got recommendation videos on your channel. Because we've been doing this for several years now. I started a playlist at one point, but I haven't kept up with it. I should go back and add in. I've got a playlist of Sarah's videos and of mine with our Amish recommendations. And if you go on my channel, there you'll see those. And I'll try to remember to add when we get off of here. Probably not tonight, but sometime this week I'll get those added and updated.
Awesome. And Roxy says, I'm going to be starting Disappearance in Pinecraft by Lenora Worth. Donna, I read the first book in Days of Redemption by Shepard. Still have the 2 remaining novels and novella to read. Excellent. And Cav, I read Unforgotten by Shelley Shepard Gray. Has a bit of a suspense thread as well involving a stalker. 2 romances, 1 Amish, 1 English. I really enjoyed it. Ooh, Unforgotten, excuse me. That sounds really good. She does tend to weave a lot of more suspense into her books, which is quite nice, if that's what you're into.
I don't think I have that one. I need to look it up.
I know. Now I want to read it. I'm like, Sorry, bear with us as we start looking stuff up.
I know.
This is as much for us as it is for everybody
else. That's a standalone too, Unforgotten. So
nice.
you don't need to read others. to just read and enjoy that one. So that's
all right.
good.
I'm going to leave that one just sitting there on Audible, and I'll look at that later. Roxy says, I noticed that there are a bunch of love-inspired and love-inspired suspense Amish books, and just books in general available on KU. Yes, KU is starting to get, and so as well as Kobo Plus are starting to get a lot of Harlequin category romances, like a lot of intrigues, a lot of presents, a lot of the romantic suspense, or the
Hoopla has a lot.
Excuse me, yeah. So do check that if you've got the KU subscription. Cass says Leslie Gould is a great author of Amish fiction, and there's a bunch of her books on Audible Plus right now, in Canada anyway. Thank you very much, Cav.
Yeah, I have some Leslie Gould books, but if I can get them on audio, I would love that.
Absolutely. If we've got them, you must have them.
Let's see here. Sorry, my husband got home. I may need to run in there and...
No, you're fine. You do what you need to do.
But yeah, I think he went outside. Now he came in one door and out the other.
Oh, yeah. A whole bunch of your stuff. Wow.
Right. Let's see. It was Leslie Gould, right?
Yep. It looks like...
there's one, I believe. Oh, okay. So I read on audio back when it was Audible Escape. I remember listening to Courting Kate, or from that same series, and it was very different. I don't remember now specifically what it was, but I went back because I was remembering. I was like, there was something odd about that book, and it wasn't your typical Amish Christian romance. And I can't remember now what it was, but just know that if you go into that one, it's very different. I couldn't tell you what that difference is, but yeah.
Another author recommendation, one that I really like if you like the more suspense, is Marta Perry. Now, she does your more traditional love-inspired type books as well, but she also does, like, there's the one series she does, The Brotherhood of the Raven, which, again, is more like a Sworn to Silence. It's like an Amish adjacent, where they're going into Amish country to investigate a murder. But they're still really, really good. I like her stuff quite a bit.
Yeah, there are a lot of her books on Audible Plus. So if you have the subscription to Audible Plus...
That's the Leslie Gould, right?
Gould. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And Roxy said, I read a Patricia John book last week. She read Grave Amish Secrets, which Storm read as well. It was so good. It came out in January of 2025. Oh, Radiant Darkness. Hello. I took issue with a book with that book too, and the series went downhill from there. Roxy says, I'm also watching Heartland season 18 is finally airing in the US. Excellent.
Awesome. Paula, I don't know if you were here, and I mentioned you earlier because I held up Until Then by Cindy Woodsmall, and I mentioned that you read that last year.
Cajun says, I read Gingerbread Danger earlier this month, and I loved it.
Awesome.
Brenda, hello. I just added a few books to my Kindle Unlimited and Kobo Plus. Wonderful. Barb, you're so sweet. I will send you money, Sarah, so you can listen to Snoop Dogg. You deserve to pee yourself. Thanks, Barb. I think.
Barb's sense of humor.
Oh, I know. The Eclectic Raven. Hello. I have 4 Amish romances on my TBR. I plan to read Uncovering Her Amish Past by Patrice Lewis in May for a readathon then. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Okay.
I love Cajun's comment here. Storm would buy number 5, but she wouldn't read it. I will to that when they go on sale. I have a random book in Whistleable Pearl because they go on sale, but not in order. So once I have the order, I will read. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually,
yeah, and that's what I do with used books. Like if I see something that I'm interested in, if I see, something farther in the series, like because in a used book situation, you never know when
you might never see that book again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better to get it while you have it available to you, and then work on completing your series from there.
Yeah, I what was I doing today? I can't remember what I was going to say. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, when I was at the library today. So I was going to pick up the next book in the Cat Who series that I have to read, which is book 5, which is The Cat Who Played Brahms. I counted. It was the only one they did not have. They had all 28 other books. They did not have that one. I'm like, other person is reading this series ahead of me.
Now you're going to be fighting for you're going to be.
Yeah, I can get it digitally, no problem. Like, but it was just the fact that this is a series that is like, what, 30, 40 years old?
Right.
And I can't get my hand on a book from 1986. Like, they're so old at the library, the spines are like discolored.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just funny. But what was funny at work on Thursday, funny saying that now, a lady that I work with, she reads, she's a big reader, and she was at the her local library, and they had the card out front of the books they're getting rid of that they pulled from the shelf, and they're just like selling 50 cents a piece for a little love-inspired suspense. And it was an Amish book. She goes, I just needed something to read for the bus. You might not like this. And she hands it to me, and I'm like, I'm totally going to read that. I said, did you like it? She goes, yeah, actually. I'm like, can I give you some recommendations?
I love it. Well, and did you tell her that you were a booktuber or anything?
Oh, she knows. She knew, actually. Bless her heart. She watched it. She was watching my channel while I was when I came back into the office, she yelled across the office. She goes, "The bookish knitter is here!" And I'm like,
that's
"Oh my
awesome. I love it. I think I told you that someone came into our store here in Florida, and they were talking about. Somehow we got on the subject of BookTube, and I asked her, "Do you watch BookTube?" She goes, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Who do you watch?" She goes, "Well, I love the Bookish Knitter," and I was like, "She's my friend."
Yeah. It's like I said, it wasn't BookTube related because I haven't been out like to meet people in public. But when I did the knitting podcast, when I showed up at Rhinebeck that first year, and across this field, someone screams my name and runs and hugs me. Someone I have no idea who you are. And Garrett's just standing there beside me, looking at me like, "What the hell?" Like, it was weird, you know. And I'm like, "Hi, nice to meet you." You know, like, obviously way pre-COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rock says, "I think Storm read a book out of order once, but I believe it was an accident."
Yeah.
Storm's not even here to defend herself. At least she's not in the comments. Oh, the last coffee mug. Hey, everyone, late to the party, but I'm reading a salted caramel. Okay, there's our fourth. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's wonderful that so many people are getting started on the series, you know, because we've been talking about it for a long time, and this has finally encouraged people to get started with.
And I hope you guys are loving it because it is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it is a great series all the way through.
I plan on reading later this month Murder Plain and Simple by Isabella Allen, which is Amanda Flower.
Yes.
So
I have read those. Have you?
Now there's the prequel novella that I'm going to start with.
Okay.
And then I'll read this one.
Are you caught up with Amish Candy Shop?
I am to book 5 or 6, but again, like I said earlier, I haven't read them in years, so I'm probably going to.
Okay. So here's my recommendation then, because I started out trying to read both of those kind of simultaneously. They have a lot of parallels. And I didn't know it until I had read both of them, both Salted Caramel and that one, that it was actually the same person. And after I read them all, I was like, oh, I see.
That makes sense. Okay.
I see. So I just be grounded enough in one of them that if you start the next one, you don't start getting them mixed up, because it's very similar. Instead of a candy shop, it's a quilt shop. And you know, it's just
that's a good thing because I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
But I get what you think.
Right.
So maybe finish this series and then start. That's my game plan, actually. Yeah. What I'm probably going to end up doing.
And I did the opposite. I went ahead and finished the quilt shop because there were fewer of them, because she hasn't written any more. She hasn't added any more.
Yeah, that was it. I think this, there's what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5. So I just went ahead and read those, and then I went to the candy shop.
Yikes. Maybe I'm okay with little subscribers. I don't do hugs. Actually, it's very, very sweet. Cajun says, I like the Isabella Allen series. I read number 2 earlier. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, actually, it was really cute in the car. Garrett and I were talking when we were out just now about something. We were talking about foods. And I said something about my grandmother's pierogies. And I said, it's very hard to find, because she made them with cottage cheese. Oh. So Garrett searched it. And it turns out that making pierogies with cottage cheese is actually a Mennonite thing.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, so there was my grandmother, a Polish Mennonite.
Maybe she had a Mennonite neighbor that gave her the recipe.
Actually, the recipe that she used, she had growing up, they made pierogies, right? But then when she left the family and moved out on her own, the recipe that she used and the recipe my aunt continues to use today is actually from a newspaper article. And it was a recipe that was used by Wayne Gretzky's mother or grandmother.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of the connection or something like that. But my aunt still has it, like the original newspaper cut it with grandma's notes on it, right? For the pierogies.
That's awesome.
But I had to mention it because of the whole Mennonite thing.
Right.
I'm picturing my grandmother in the bonnet. Making her pierogies.
Love it.
All right. Anything else we want to chat about, or
are we caught up with the comments?
Oh, we are, my dear.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize.
Yeah. Oh,
very cool. Did I talk about everything?
Oh, Brenda says I'm Ukrainian and we always had cottage cheese pierogies. Hey, Ukrainian
videos, but I have 7 Amish books that I'm going to attempt to get to all in audio, and then 2 print books, but I doubt I'll get to those. So I've been showing this. I've been trying to do a Beverly Lewis series every year, and so this is the series I picked this year. It's called Annie's People, and it's a trilogy. The Preacher's Daughter is one of them, and number 2 is The Englisher, and then number 3 is The Brethren. And so those are available on Hoopla. The first 2 are available on Audible Plus, but not the third one, and they're on Everand. And these this one, Until Then, by Cindy Woodsmall, is on Hoopla and Everand. And then the other one is one by her. I've got to dig out my physical copy because I've had it for a while. It's called The Christmas Haven. I think it's a sequel to The Christmas Remedy, which I read. It was very good. It was about a young Amish woman who wanted to be a pharmacist, and she was already working at a pharmacy, but she falls in love, and she knows that the bishop is not going to let her keep working if she gets married. And so she's kind of fighting for her job because she feels like she's really doing good in her community, because she's able to get some of the Amish people to take medicine even though they don't want to.
Yes.
So that was really good. That was called The Christmas Remedy. And then Christmas Haven may be a sequel. I don't know. I got them both from the publisher. They're both Sydney Woodsmall. So I want to get to that one. And then I started this one today, and yeah, it's really good. And, you know, we were having this discussion, you and I think on Tim's channel, where we're talking about like dad books and gritty things and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, now that I don't know why I was afraid of this, it was gruesome. And I'm not that far into it, but this one, just so y'all know, the murder victim is a whole family, including kids and everything.
And that's the one with the buggy accident, right?
No, but I don't. Well, unless I haven't gotten to it yet.
It's the first thing that happens in the book.
Then no. So no, this one, there's like a guy, a policeman out on patrol, and he hears screaming, and he goes to check it out. And the man who had come to help milk the cows finds this whole family dead.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's number 2. That's this one, Pray for Silence. So, but yeah, there's so far, it's really not much worse than some of the things that like Reacher has had to deal with. So it, you know, comparatively, it's probably maybe 1/2 a notch up on the gritty scale, but yeah. So, and I know like people who like Paula, Paula, am I saying your name right? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Paula, she has read several of them now. I think she's on, Paula, tell us what number you're on now, because I know you said it in your video. She's been gone quite far. And I know she was kind of concerned because there's some foul language and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, I don't know if I like it. But then she got like hooked on it immediately. And she read a bunch of them last year, I think.
I keep telling my aunt, because she loves like thrillers and mysteries, I'm like, you need to pick up this series, because but she's kind of like the whole Amish thing. I'm like, you just got to try one. Yeah. You know, and just see what you think. But it's book 5 is the buggy accident.
Okay.
That's a hard one, to be honest.
Okay.
And like you said, like, I think about it now, like, because I think I picked these up like when my dad was sick, and I think if he was still around, he would really like these. Really? You know what I mean? Like you said about dad books, like this would be his jam. You know, like the whole
my husband would probably like these too. I finally got him reading Reacher now, so he just finished book 4, and he's going to read through Reacher because we've been watching the show, which, you know, we're caught up with the show. So he's like. he had been reading Clive Cussler all last year. And
Uh,
so this year, when it was done with Clive Cussler, I was like, so what do you want to read next? He's like, well, I guess I could read Reacher. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Garrett's slowly reading James Patterson. And you know how his chapters are like super short? So we're sitting there this morning having breakfast. He's like, I'm on chapter 33. I said, of how many? He was like, 124. I'm like, so you're a third of the way through the book.
Very cool. And is he still thinking about starting a channel?
He's thinking about it. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, and
he reads very, very slowly. Like he's been reading this book for a week. So
okay. Does he read some Star Wars books too? I know he's a Star Wars fan.
He used to. He's read most of them, so he hasn't read them. He's not someone who's going to reread or do anything like that, right? So, but I mean, that's still something you could talk on after the fact. Do you know what I mean?
I see some of these Star Wars guys; they'll be like ranking all the Star Wars books,
right?
Or, that kind of thing. So,
right, stuff and especially with someone with his knowledge of Star Wars and his love of Star Wars, right? So
I would love to chat with him about Star Wars books.
Oh yeah. Cajun says, that sounds yummy. I love cottage cheese. Yes. And she says, Cindy Woodsmall is romance, but with substance. Mm-hmm. That's what you want. And she says she's about to start book 12.
And that's probably Linda Castillo. Yeah.
Yeah. So book 12 is, scrolling through here on Goodreads, Outsider. Very good. Came out in 2020.
Okay. How many are there so far since you've got it pulled up?
The newest one is called Rage, and it is coming out this year. She looks like she puts out about one a year. Comes out in July.
Okay.
Yep. Edgar Award-winning series. Ooh.
Another series I've only tapped into barely, but I would kind of equate it to this, except that it's not Amish, is the Elizabeth George books. Inspector Lindley. Just based on the first one, it was pretty gory, and I think it's kind of that level of gore and grit.
But it's interesting, and it's like, I mean, these are, don't get me wrong, I love this. I love these. Like, these cute little Amish mysteries are adorable, but there's just something, about this that's just substantial. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something you can sink your teeth into for sure. And like J.A. Jance is an example of that. Not Amish, but I love that Storm has gotten all into reading J.P. Beaumont. And so I had just gotten back into reading J.A. Jance. I'm reading Allie Reynolds, and I just finished one yesterday. And I was like looking to see how quick I could get the next one. I was like, no, I need to do my Amish books now, but I really want to get back and read another one.
Oh my gosh, she's already got another one listed for July of next year.
Oh man, wow.
Yeah. So that'll be book 18. Now, she also wrote, before she started the Kate Burkholder series, starting in 2001 to 2007, she wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 category romance books.
Really?
Yep. She wrote for the love-inspired suspense line.
Okay.
They're not Amish, but she did write for the love-inspired suspense line.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if anyone ever wants to try and check out some of her old stuff, they've been republished with different covers.
There's something weird going on. There's some weird noise. I'm going to mute for a second. I'll be right back.
Fine. Take your time. But yeah, if you want to try her stuff, and, try her old stuff. But like I said, they've republished her stuff, but like with different covers. So they're not going to look like a category romance cover. A Hero to Hold, I think, was her first book, and it's from the High Country Heroes series. So yeah, if anyone's interested in trying out Linda Castillo, I can never say her name correctly. Check comments. Michelle says, Sarah, my husband would love if your husband started a channel. We need more guidebook tubers. I concur. Felicia, hi, welcome, Felicia. I'm a thriller horror girl. Never read an Amish novel, but I'm very intrigued. Okay, thriller. This is the author we're talking about, Sworn to Silence. You're going to want to read this one. This is the first book in a series. It is the Kate Burkholder series, and she is the chief of police in a small Amish town. And these are very, very gritty, very thriller. They're really, really good. If you are a thriller horror reader to begin with, this is where you're going to want to try an Amish books. That's just my opinion. You might enjoy it.
There's like our neighbor across the street here. We live on a corner, and they've got some kind of four-wheeler out here, and it's backfiring.
Oh,
so it's like, and it's making the dogs bark and everything. So, but I just was like, what is that noise?
Yeah, exactly. We have neighbors on the corner who have a four-wheeler and all that, and or in a dirt bike, And every summer they're up and down the street. It's like, can you take it somewhere else, please? You know, this is a residential neighborhood. Roxy says, I changed my mind. I want to read a salted caramel, so I went to borrow it from Libby. I'm jumping on the buggy, so to speak. I like it. Yay! Lisa says, thank you. You're welcome. And Barbara, she the popo? Yes, she's the police. Barb, how many painkillers have you taken today, sweetheart? Not there's anything wrong with painkillers. I'm just asking a question. So you mentioned what you were reading. So I am, of course, going to be reading this one. I'm also going to be reading Murder, Plain and Simple, along with the prequel novella called Plainly Murder. So I'll be reading that first. I want to finish Promise Me. What the hell am I reading right now? Promise Me Sunshine? Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I'm 60% of the way through that one. I want to finish that one first. But then I also want to read... what else is on my list of Amish books? Oh, I read Hearse and Buggy by Laura Bradford. I did not love it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So we'll see if I continue on that series or not.
That's my other eyeball series that I might get to. I'm up to number 4. So, because the first 3 are on audio. So
yeah, I was going to say it's only the first 3 that are on audio. So
yeah.
Which is
and
disappointing.
I would have sworn they used to all be there, and I don't know if like the licensing expired or something, and Hoopla didn't renew it. Sorry, Emily just got in here. But
no, you're
yeah,
fine.
so
Don't apologize.
I probably won't get to it, but it's on my SAS list. So at some point this year, I want to continue on with that series.
Well, I did notice, speaking of audio, and this is not Amish, but I was looking up the new The Chow Maniac by Vivian Chen, and it didn't show up on Audible. Why? Because it's produced by Spotify Studios. So Audible used to be my go-to to see whether or not something was on audio. So my recommendation, just a small recommendation, look everywhere, because I found it on Hoopla. So there you go.
Yeah, because I used to figure if Audible doesn't have it, nobody has it.
Exactly. You know? And there was a book I wanted to listen to in a Jill Shalvis series, the first in her Heartbreaker Band. I'm like, how is this not on audio? It's not on Audible. This is ridiculous. It's Jill Shalvis. And then I went and looked, and again, it was on Hoopla. So for whatever reason, Audible removed it. So they used to be to me, but I think they're now losing ground because like Spotify has a studio that, do you know what I mean? Like there's different players now in the game.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And the Apple books, I don't know. I guess Audible is Amazon, right? So Apple books would be on Amazon.
Yeah. And the other one that I hope to read, of course, is the Patricia Johns book, which is going to be eyeball reading. It's a category romance book because it's for the category romance. I was thinking about reading Murder for an Amish Bridegroom. I think somebody else here read it, but I know it hasn't gotten the best reviews.
Yeah.
So, and there's only one book in the series. I think there's only ever going to be one book in my understanding. And Barbara says, only one, because I went to the store, but may take one more. Nothing wrong with that, Barb. But I mean, if I can get to, now that somebody's recommended this one by Shelley Shepherd Gray, The Unforgotten, if I can find it somewhere on audio for free, I am going to snag it.
And then you don't have to worry about, you're not starting a new series. You're just
precisely
done. Yeah.
Standalone. Even though I just went to the library and got books I have no business picking up, but that's not the point. We won't go there.
It's okay. It helps them stay in circulation.
That's
You're
right.
doing those books a favor.
Garrett goes, you got more books. I said, but they were free. They costed no money. Anybody have any questions? Anything that we can answer for anybody? Do let us know. Anything else you wanted to mention, Elizabeth?
Well, just to let everybody know, we'll probably come back at the end on the 28th, since Sarah does regular sprints anyway on Mondays.
Yeah, because Storm's this Monday, so I'll be the following Monday.
Yeah, so the official ending date is the 27th, so come back on the 28th for Sarah's sprint. Storm will probably be here too. I might
absolutely.
And just, let us know what all you read.
What you read and what you enjoyed. And yeah, I really enjoy doing this. I mean, it's so niche, and I know we don't have a ton of people participating, but it's just, I think it really does encourage some new people every year to read things that they might not have tried out before.
And when you talk about it in a video, use the hashtag Amish in April. I've heard a couple people say Amish April, the shorten it, but it's actually Amish in April.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know why. That's just how we started doing it, and that's what it is.
It makes sense because we're reading Amish in April.
Amish in April, yeah, yeah. So so just use that hashtag in your video tags and stuff, or on Instagram or whatever.
Curious how many books Elizabeth reads in a month.
I average about probably not quite 30, probably 25 to 30, because I don't often make it quite to 365 by the end of the year, unless it's 2020 and we're all stuck at home. In 2020, I read 430 for the year.
Well, I think I mentioned I watched yours, Lee's, and Storm's middle grade May announcement videos. And I mentioned on Storm's, I'm like, this part of me really wants to kind of try for 31 and 31, right? Yeah. But then I'm like, don't be stupid. You're going back to work. Right. And it's not like I have a commute anymore because I'll be working so much closer to home, right? I can't even, So I'm like, no, just do the tortoise. Don't overcommit.
Well, and I haven't pulled all my middle grade out. I was thinking that I had a lot more that I could get on audio, and I think I can still pull 30 out that I can get on audio. But I have a lot of vintage middle grade books.
Yes.
So maybe that'll have to be next year's theme is vintage middle grade. But those, I don't think there's that many of the vintage ones that are on audio. So
I wish that the Babysitters Club series, like they are on audio, but they're exclusive to Audible. So you're not going to find them on Libby. You're not going to find them on Hoopla. And I'm like, I just wish that they weren't, because then so many more people, like they're 2-3 hours long. You could fly through those and get like the first 30 books in the series read in a month,
Sorry, they're still out here. Now that they got the four-wheeler backfiring, they're just like zooming around. Oh, good God. So loud.
Lost Copy Michael, I'm glad you're doing this. I'm now reading something I wouldn't normally read, and my sister is joining me as well. Oh, that's wonderful. We'd love to hear that. Thank you. Yeah. Angel says, I've discovered a lot of new to me authors. Wonderful. And Barbara, I've not read Amish books, so I'm excited, especially when Snoop Dogg is reading them to you.
And just to kind of give the sweeter side a plug.
Yes, of course.
Beverly Lewis has so many books on Hoopla, and I think on Audible Plus too, and Everand and everything. Wanda Brugstetter has a boatload on there. So try, even like if you're reading, Sworn to Silence or whatever, try one on the other end of the spectrum too, just to get a feel for it. And then there's some other newer Amish authors who have just been on the scene like in the last 10, 15 years, like Beth Wiseman. You mentioned Vanetta Chapman, Amy Clipston. Some of those have some really good stuff too.
There's Patricia Davis, Patrice Lewis, Patricia Davis. I'm looking more at the category romance side of it. But if you look at Love Inspired, they put out 2 Amish books every single month.
Cheryl Wilford, I think she's another one that has
Carrie Light. Joanne Brown. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. So, and then, the suspense ones too. There's Dana R. Lynn. Oh, Rebecca Kurtz is fantastic. Marta Perry writes on the sweeter side as well. So like there's lots of options for the more sweeter side. Don't just go with what we're saying or what I'm saying.
Yeah. And if you don't want a faith-based one, there are some like Sarah Price. There is an Amish fairy tale retelling series. The first one's on audio, that's Beauty and the Beast. It's called Belle, something about Belle, but there's 2 more that I don't have that are not on audio. I think it's Sarah Price. Let me see. But I read the first one and it was really fun. I enjoyed it. Now, Sarah Price, her books I don't think it's Sarah Price. Who is it? Oh my goodness. I think
I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember the author now.
Shoot.
Samantha Price.
Okay. Yeah. So, so I've read that first one. I've listened to it and it was really fun. And there's a Snow White one and I forget, but the one I listened to is Beauty and the Beast. So, so there are lots of options for Amish books.
Absolutely. Yeah. Her stuff.
Reading taste. And a lot of nonfiction. I've been seeing more nonfiction pop up. If you are curious about what they believe and why they live the way they do, there's some nonfiction on Audible Plus. There's some I think on Hoopla, and so there's the sky is the limit. I mean, there's so
Right.
much.
And I think Samantha Price is the one that Cajun was talking about with the Eddie Smith series. So the
Okay.
first series you want to read is the Amish Secret Widows Society.
Okay.
Before you get into the Eddie Smith, if you're reading Samantha Chase or Samantha Price. Samantha Chase is a completely different author, and she is not Amish in any way, shape, or form.
I don't see. I'm looking up Samantha.
I'm on Fantastic Fiction.
Okay. And do you see the one about Belle on
About
hers?
Belle?
Because I'm not sure that that's still the author I'm thinking of.
Nope.
And I cannot think of the name of it. I'm gonna have to look at my own. Let me look at my own.
She has written a ton. This Samantha Price, she writes a lot, and it looks mostly like she writes what's the word I'm looking for? She's an indie author.
Okay.
But almost everything she writes is Amish, and there's got to be 100 books here that I'm going through.
I'm just wondering if she's the author I'm thinking of that wrote the fairy tale retelling series. So I'm looking now because I'm pretty sure I read it last year for Amish in April. So let me just scroll back through my Goodreads. It's just loading, and then I'll tell you in case anyone's interested. It takes a second, so you can go ahead and keep talking.
Oh yeah. So Michelle says, I'm really excited to read all things Amish. Thank you both for doing this. You're very welcome, Michelle. We enjoy it just as much as you guys. We do it for us because you guys join it just makes it that much more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm trying to get through all of Beverly Lewis's catalog of books. She's got so many. So this is my set aside time every year to make sure I get through one more. I usually try to do one series and one standalone, although I haven't picked out a standalone for this year. I'll try to get to that too.
She says Bookshare taking some Babysitters Club Braille books off the site, which is messing with my mission to read all of them. Oh, that's disappointing. And she says Diane Chamberlain has an Amish book called Reflection. Oh yeah. So if you want to go to that direction as well, Susan Wiggs wrote a book that was Amish based. That I now need to remember the. I can see the cover in my head. This is going to drive me crazy.
Drew book. The Witch Tree Symbol. That's correct. Book.
Between You and Me by Susan Wiggs is based in Amish country.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
And there's the one, was it, what's her name? She wrote the one about the sister who was born basically to be spare parts for her other sister. That sounds horrible.
Oh, Jodie Picoult. Yeah, Jodie Picoult has one.
Yes.
Yeah. And it sounds, the title is very similar to the first Linda Castillo one. It's like,
I'm looking it up right now.
The titles can be easily confused.
Plain Truth.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guarantee you that is probably a title also of a Kate Burkholder book. But that's the thing, like, you wouldn't expect, like, this Susan Wiggs book, it's about a man who's, like, having to raise his orphan niece, and I think that her parents were Amish or something like that. It was a really good book. I read it years ago. I really liked it. So, again, as I like to call, you got some Amish-adjacent books.
All right. I am almost back to, I'm scrolling through my Goodreads from last year. I'm almost back to
Reading in Dark says she also does classics. First Impressions is the Amish version of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you.
And is it Samantha Price? Is that who?
I think it's.
Here we go. I found it. Sarah Price. It's Sarah Price. And if you want, I can.
You're right the first time.
Yeah. So it's called Belle, an Amish retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's Amish fairy tale number 1, and then we have Ella, an Amish retelling of Cinderella, and then Sadie, an Amish retelling of Snow White.
Delightful. Oh, those look so cute.
Yeah. And Belle was really good. So
I'll have to look for those.
And it's like these girls all live in the same little fairy tale village. So in Belle, she like talks about Ella and Sadie, and like she knows them. So it's really fun.
Oh, that looks delightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's an Amish themed post-apocalyptic sci-fi Novel that is also on my TBR, When the English Fall by David Williams.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Hey, why not, right? Getting back on track. I remember when it used to be just one or two Amish themed authors. Lots of different choices now. Love reading them. I agree. Caden says The Amish Sweet Shop by Emma Miller. Yes. Laura Bradford and Mary Ellis is a sweet book and wonderful. Gave it 5 stars.
Nice.
Wonderful. Dar says, yes, it's a good one. I read it last year. Excellent. And Cajun says, yes, Samantha Price writes the Amish Secret Widows and the Eddie Smith series too. Yeah, she's written looking at her fantastic fiction page. Holy cow. She's like the Tanya Kappas of Amish books. But yeah, so there's lots and lots, like somebody said, like, you'll find a little something if you want the sweeter side, if you want a little murder and mayhem, there's a little something for everybody. But try a little bit of both and see what you'll prefer,
I am adding that post-apocalyptic one to my Goodreads. Oh, I already have it on here. Well,
so shocking.
Goodness. Yeah. I don't remember ever hearing about it, but yeah, I'm definitely interested.
But no, you're right as well too with the nonfiction. I think that's very interesting as well to learn more, because a lot of these, and we have to remember, like, they're not going to be really true to what actually, like you mentioned the one that you read about, him having a child out of wedlock during his. If that actually happened, I have a feeling he might have been shunned, maybe, even though he was on Rumspringa. I don't know. I don't know how far they can go. I don't know.
He said he came back and repented and joined the church. I mean, that's the whole point of Christianity, is grace and forgiveness. Yeah. So, but I would think he would have needed to be paying child support, and maybe he was. I don't know. Did you really go into that? So,
but I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, I think some of it really has to be like, I don't think some of the ladies have as much freedom as they seem to have in the books and things like that.
Maybe, yeah.
If that makes sense,
Oh, and another thing we haven't touched on, we got middle grade May coming. There are middle grade Amish books. There are various series about kids. Yeah, I may have a couple of them up here that are middle grade Amish books. Let me see if I can find a couple here. Yeah, this one is a mainstream book. This one is not necessarily a Christian book. It's by Virginia Sorensen, who I think has a Newbery winner or an honor book.
Okay.
But this one is it was a scholastic book, Plain Girl. And this one I found somewhere. It's by Daniel Yoder. So there's an Amish name for you. There. Tingle with Fear. But I've got some series books that are over here somewhere. I need to get organized better, but yeah, there are quite a few Amish middle grade books.
Yeah, that looks really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Excellent. I will have to check those out for sure. Yeah. Just checking the comments here. So it looks like we have all the comments read through.
And we're at about, we've gone over an hour.
Over an hour. Good for us.
So my husband and I would just be just like, it won't be long like the sprints. We'll just.
Well, it's still not long like the sprints.
Yeah. But, for all of you that don't know, we've been watching the Waltons. So usually on weekends, we try to at least get in an episode or two of the
Delightful.
Waltons, so.
Well, go and enjoy your Waltons. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody in the comments. Enjoy your Amish books. Share on social media. Share with us. Let us know what you're reading. Like Elizabeth said, use the hashtag Amish in April. If you do a video or an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever you're doing. And come back here on the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Elizabeth will join for Monday Night Sprints, and we're going to do our wrap-up for Amish in April for this year.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I hope everyone has a happy Easter if you celebrate, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.